Now, this is nothing against Wayne. It's actually due to Wayne's brilliance that it can sometimes work against him, especially at this time of his life and his age. We know that when Wayne takes over a club, he has success, instant success, whether it's winning a comp or getting them to top four and playing in prelim finals, whatever it may be. He's got a track record of it. When he leaves, of course, we know that coaches come in and try and do their own thing, try not to replicate Wayne, try and put their own fingerprint on a side, and it never works. And so to back that up, the data shows that when he left the Brisbane Broncos, Ivan Henjak took the reins. It was the first time they missed the finals in 18 seasons. Anthony Griffin took his place in Brisbane after so much promise in 2011. Missed, I think he was dismissed after 3 seasons. Then he went to the Dragons, of course, and collapsed. After that, they won a comp while he was there, but after that, 3 consecutive seasons without semi-finals action at all. The Knights. And, of course, they played in finals when he was at the Knights, and they slumped to 3 consecutive wooden spoons. So then he goes back to the Brisbane Broncos, and, of course, it was a 2015 grand final. And then he goes to South Sydney, and when he goes to South Sydney, Anthony Seibold, unfortunately, they get the wooden spoon in 2020. So the history shows that it can set a club backwards. And like I said, this is not a shot at Wayne. This is just actually due to his brilliance. Now, if you want a hired gun that is going to come in and get an immediate result and then ride off into the sunset, well, Wayne's your man. At his age, Wayne's your perfect man. But a South Sydney in a situation where they can take a risk that the aftermath can be exactly where we are right now. Are we talking and discussing the same issues in 3 or 4 years' time? So it's a really big situation and a really big decision for South Sydney about, do they want instant success or do they want sustainable success for years to come?
And you don't think the right coach after Wayne, and I actually, you make a lot of sense. I can't disagree with you because the proof's in the pudding, right? But you don't think the right coach that follows Wayne with the right cattle can have continued success?
It's proven that they can't.
But he also took some players with him.
Yeah, he did.
When he left, like Darius Boyd was probably the biggest.
Yeah.
You know, he was the Australian fullback at the time. So whenever Wayne went, Darius went.
Yeah.
So they lost some good cattle as well. But and if everything is right at the moment and there's a couple of characters in that South team that might be a little bit disruptive.
I mean, he can handle disruptive players.
Yeah,
That's not a problem. Wayne is one of the coaches. Everyone thinks that Wayne...
And he's handled these players before, right?
Everyone thinks that Wayne goes in and cuddles all the players and they all sit around a campfire and sing Kumbaya, but it's further from the truth. Wayne is the one person, is a coach, I should say, that stares the players in the eyes when they are not following protocol and they're not being disciplined and they're not putting the club first, and he hits them square between the eyes about where they need to be and what role they play within the club. So it's not all cuddles and hugs for the players. So
you're saying bypass Wayne and go for someone else. Now, there's talk today that if JD gets the boot, that someone like Mal Meninga could come in as interim coach. Until who? Until what? Like, you know, I'd like to see Sam Burgess back at the club in some capacity.
I don't think Sam can go back there with some of the current players that are there. I mean, it's been proven
that's right.
that they didn't see eye to eye with some of his ideologies and the
And
values
they'll
that
both
he
be
wants.
there. Well, they'll be there next year.
You know, I mean, Cody, Latrell, whether Damien Cook, all those key players that have a really big bearing on where the club's going from a playing group point of view.
Plus, Sam's got a contract to the end of 2025 in England.
Yeah, and we don't know whether there's a clause in there that says if you get a head coaching role in the NRL, you can.
Apparently, there's not, Sat.
So
they'd want a transfer fee.
I just think Sam's probably a little bit too early to go into a head coaching role at a club of that nature. I think it's a really good role that he's taken over there, just learning how to deal with the player dynamics and the different egos within a club and, suffering defeat. How do you handle consistent wins as well? And
all right, so you say they need honesty.
Mm.
They need someone who will give them a cuddle when needed, but also honest other times. Outside of Wayne, who is there?
I don't think it will happen because he's the New South Wales coach now. But I think Michael Maguire would be the man.
Imagine we must.
I don't think you can put a coach in there with less than 10 years experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you can put a rookie coach in there. It's too strong of a club. It's got a huge supporter base. It's got strong personalities, and they've got very passionate owners as well. I think you've got to have a coach that's a minimum 10 years. And like I said, Michael Maguire's a New South Wales coach now. I've got no doubt that he'll do a great job at that.
But geez, he'd love to go.
If
back
Michael
to
Maguire
South,
wins the
wouldn't
Origin Series this year,
Yep.
I mean, his stocks go through the roof.
Yep.
From a club point of view, because he's proven that he can win when he deals with elite athletes.
Isn't Bellyache coming off contract at the end of this year?
Good luck with that. Matt Tripp, the owner and the majority owner and chairman of Melbourne Storm, said, you know what, if he's going anywhere, he's moving possible postcodes in Melbourne. That's it. He's not going anywhere. He'll always be at the Melbourne Storm in some capacity.
So there's no one else, really, is there?
Now, the Walker boys have been thrown up, but the Walker boys haven't been coaching for years. As much as I love them, and I love the way they look at the game, they do. A lot of teams are doing things in the game now with their kicking and their short kick dropouts that they were doing 7 or 8 years ago with Ipswich when they were the national champions. But they've got to get back into coaching at some capacity before they get an opportunity as head coaches at a club. So, there's Michael Maguire. I think would be very, very good. He's tough, but he's empathetic as well. And he's proven that he can coach at that level.
Oh, mate, I love it. But in Madge, we must win Origin this year. I'm
as I
sorry
said,
for our Queensland listeners, but as a Blues boy, we need New South Wales to hit back and win Origin this year. 3-0. We need to win 3-0 after game one.
What? So
this is how serious I am.
So you won't settle for 2-1?
No, 3-0.
Okay.
We need to bash those Queenslanders.
Well, it's all in New South Wales' favour. What, first game?
Oh, please.
First game Sydney, second game MCG?
Mate, you go to the MCG and there's 90,000 people booing New South Wales.
There's 70,000 people that don't have a clue what's going on the field.
Guys, why can't I get a yak milk latte? Jesus. Right, what are your thoughts? Sats, very, very, very good.
What about 280 said, what's Jeff Tuvey doing now? Again, he's been out of head coaching for a while now, so I think you've got to be in the cycle. I think you've got to be in the cycle. And
what do you think of Matt? Again, we don't want to. It seems like JD could be dead men walking, unless he can do what they did at Newcastle last year, turn around and go on a 10-game winning streak. What are your thoughts on Mao as interim?
I think Mao would be really good as an interim.
He's a good leader.
Do. Yeah, I would.
Is there a test? Are we playing tests this year?
I'm not sure. We've got a text here. I'll find it very soon. Oh, here it is here. Josh says, Mal will not save South Sydney. He has spent the best part of a decade coaching a group of captains and great leaders who drive the culture for him. And that's exactly what Souths lack. And Josh makes some really good points.
That's a very good point.
Yeah, they need to go out and recruit a captain. I think he's more important than any coach or position they're lacking in. It's a really good text, Josh. Yeah.
And I've got to say, Cam Murray just looks spent.
Can I tell you something about a coach?
Empty.
A coach at some of these really, really powerful clubs, they've got to have an aura about them. You've got to be able to walk in, and those players, as big as some of them think they are overshadowed by the aura of the person. Mal has got an aura when he walks in. He commands respect straight away.
Has Madge got that aura after what went down which was much publicised at the West Tigers in that documentary?
Well, he's just proven that Australia can be lapped 2 times over in a test match series.
So that's redeemed him?
He's a New South Wales coach, and like I said, if he wins that series this year,
then he's right.
His stocks are through the roof.
What do you think?